You guys to listen to this. Bear with me because I'm just gonna go
We had
continue
for
to
a
go
long
back.
time, given the fact.
So I'm watching Worst Ex Ever, and I believe it's the third episode. And I just want you guys to listen to how tough it can be sometimes to be a male and how unfair. Um, and not just male, it gets worse the darker you get as well. So it's not just male in general. It's the darker you get, the worst. But just check this out. I want you guys to listen. Alright, so listen to this. I'm gonna jump around to two different sections, but I want you to listen to this first section.
Jeff and his wife Uda started to walk towards me. Jeff introduced himself, and I kind of had a bad feeling. At this point, my grandmother was starting to get into poor health. I was worried that something might have happened to her, a stroke or a heart attack or something like that. So Eric and his daughter, Jeff and Uda, entered through the garage door into the house. Jeff and Uda stayed downstairs. Eric went upstairs with his daughter. When I went upstairs, I didn't see her in her bed. I didn't see her in her room or the adjoining bathroom. I did not see my grandmother anywhere. I heard a noise behind me, and then I saw May. I was shocked. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And she said that my grandmother had called her. I kind of knew it was not right, but I was starting to panic in the moment. May said that my grandmother was downstairs in the garage, which didn't make sense to me, not at that hour. I set my daughter down and I asked May to watch her. As I ran out,
That's
Rosa
pretty stupid
jumped
if you
out
felt something was
from the
wrong.
baby's room, wearing a black trench coat. And then she shot me with a taser gun. I felt a sharp pain on the back of my head. May hit me with a baton. I went down. Jeff and Uda started to hear an argument occur, and then they heard a sound which they thought was a gunshot. They retreated from the house for their own safety, ran next door to have the neighbor call 911.
Now pay attention to this next part.
County emergency.
And I've got a problem with a neighbor over here screaming from next door.
Okay, what are they screaming?
What are you doing? He said, what are you doing? What are you doing? It sounded like a shot. I didn't know if it was a gunshot or what, but it sounded like there's somebody in the house. He's got his little 2-year-old daughter with him. Rosa was kicking me and May was hitting me with the baton, and I was seeing all this blood.
I don't want this to be too long, but just that's what's going on. So this guy and his grandmother's neighbors, they basically do a welfare check. His wife or ex-wife and her daughter actually jumps the guy. He has his little 2-year-old daughter. They jump him. And as you can hear, when they call the police, I mean, he's obviously saying the guy is gonna be more of the victim. You can hear that. But watch when the police come.
When I heard the sirens, Rosa still had the gun, and I felt like she could shoot me at any moment. Responding to a gunshot call, there's a lot of things that go through your head. As you get closer and closer, of course, your adrenaline goes up because you don't know what you're getting into. We entered through the garage. And as we go in, we can hear screaming and a struggle upstairs.
And pause. I heard it the first time, but I didn't catch it. But even just listening to his words of him explaining that he's hearing a guy scream out. I mean, come on. Let's be for real.
Reached the top of the stairs. There was blood spatter. There were tasers, bullets, a baton, just strewn about the entire hallway. And we can see was a male and a female standing in the hallway. The male had his back to us. The female was facing us. You can clearly see blood coming down her face. Trying to decipher who's my suspect, who's my victim, was pretty difficult.
No, it wasn't.
Given the fact that we didn't know who our suspect was,
Damn
the
lie.
instructions were to have everyone show us their hands, don't move. Unfortunately, the male did not listen to those instructions. He
course,
jumped
'cause
from
he's
the
the
hallway
victim.
into a bedroom.
They were yelling at me not to move, but I also knew that Rosa was pointing a gun, so I kept moving where I knew at least Rosa couldn't hit me from where she was. I just was like, get away, get away, get away.
At that point, my partner tased him to subdue him.
So they tased the victim, but not the criminal that's holding the gun, which is a Oriental lady. Come on.
way we could control the scene.
The taser he had was really powerful.
These are bad
and,
cops.
I seized up, I couldn't move.
Eric was screaming out that his 2-year-old daughter was in a bathroom upstairs. And looking down the hall, there's a mirror. And I saw a reflection of another person who was hiding in a bedroom across the hallway. At this
Which is
point,
another Oriental
we
lady.
identified that there are 2 women in this residence. One later identified as May and Rosa, who was in the bedroom.
Since they didn't know what was going on at the time, they basically just handcuffed all of us, and they put me in a police car, and they put May in an ambulance.
So again, they tase, handcuff, and place in custody the victim. But the criminals, they put one in handcuffs, but leave them outside so they can stand around, walk around, do whatever. And then the other one, they place in an ambulance because she's bleeding. Great police work, right?
Rosa was just standing on the front lawn, handcuffed, for a long time. And at that point, that's when they found my daughter locked in the bathroom, and they called CPS. And while I was locked in the police car, I was able to see the CPS worker holding my daughter's hand and walking away from the house.
We had 2 females up there that were smaller in stature, and we had Eric Hill, who was much larger in stature, so trying to determine who.
And look at that great police work, the horrible profiling. Now, like I said, the darker you get, the worse. But and this is a white male with his Oriental wife or ex-wife. You see how that's working out. Imagine if it was anything other.
Who assaulted who was confusing.
It was not
Rosa's demeanor
confusing.
was weirdly calm. Not someone that was just involved in a major altercation. May's demeanor, also calm, very calculated, odd, for sure.
At the time of incident, I had been a detective with Dublin Police Services for approximately 3.
So I haven't made it this far, but just listening, like when I was listening to that, it just pissed me off. Like, I mean, I'm not even a cop, and I already picked up the clues. And I've already picked up the clues. It's not that I watched it once and then watched it again. No, I'm watching it in real time as I'm sharing this, and I just don't understand. Like, I just don't. This is stupid. It's retarded. These cops want more money, and they're getting paid all this money, but they can't put 2 to 2 together. You know, 2 to 2 for them is 1. I mean, which that doesn't add up.